Every change is a solution to a problem. It's that simple. The challenge we have is people often view problems as bad things, to have something that we need to avoid. So we need to understand them before we get caught out by declaring we have a problem. Or even worse, being told, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions. So I'm going to introduce you to the work of John Hall and Lucia Rapinotti, who not only have I had the pleasure of working with, but I love how they explore problems in their purest form. It takes away the feeling when somebody says you have a problem, because we break it down to its core components, which is instantly less scary. A problem is a combination of the need you have and the context you are in. No drama, just simple fact. It's a specific context with a specific need. For example, if your need is accurate reporting, bound by a context of regulatory requirements, that's your problem. Sounds pretty boring, but it is still your problem. So now we have that, we can look for a solution, or at least be on the lookout for one. So what is a solution? Probably more obvious, but it's the thing that best responds to that need in its context. The extra challenge is that it does need to be accepted and approved by your stakeholders. So if we are able to find an accurate reporting widget, we have a solution for our problem. And if our stakeholders agree on that solution, and we have a solved problem. It's that simple. But how you explore and engage in a problem is central to what we need when we talk about change and when we explore change. How you think and where you are likely to get tripped up on comes from your understanding of problems. And it's really important to know where we stand, because our own personal biases will affect what we do and how we think. How we approach change is grounded in who we are as a person, what we look for. Do you enjoy getting to grips with data and evidence, getting under the hood, really understanding and proving that there's a problem? Or do you find yourself chomping at the bits, going to sort it, buy it, finish it, because can we just do something already? Because in a change situation, you are likely to be one of these types of people, or at least have these as dominant preferences or types. Where you are the same but different to your counterpart. You'll find a yin to your yang. Hall and Rapinotti use 6 and 9s to demonstrate the similarity and differences with a problem mindset. For those of us who are 6s, we're often really quick to get on, centre of that change, be in the thick of it, naturally choosing delivery-focused roles and activities because we love a tangible outcome and some progress. Our counterparts, they're 9, are usually adept at analysis, hypothesis, and creating understanding of where you are, to make sure we're focusing on the right things, options, and approaches. Have a think as to where you think you land. Focus on your behaviours at work, in the office, with a client. Because if you try and make this an existential question, you'll never answer it. Because as with many questions, the answer to this is, it depends. I know from my perspective, when I am with clients, when I am solving problems, I am a solution person, because that is why I'm here. But I very much know I'm a problem person at home, and that might be navigating a new marble run or trying to choose handles at IKEA. And both my wife and I will attest that I am a problem person. So who are you? The challenge with these characteristics is that too much of one and not enough of the other won't result in progress. If you have a room of problem people trying to progress change, I expect you'll end up with a really great problem, but with nobody doing any bloody work. Counter to that with too many solution people, you will end up with lots of ideas, but none of them will meet the full needs of your problem because nobody took the time to really understand what we were trying to do. I think many of us can identify one of those moments in our worlds. The answer, as with life, will always be balance. Know who you are and then seek counsel from those that think differently. Actively seek out a different brain, a different thought process, a different idea. If you are talking to your board and you can't get them to move on a decision, can't get them to take that solution, you probably have a room of problem people. So ask for what evidence they need, time box that discussion and move them through to a solution by meeting their needs. Counter that with your team, who are already off down the road to the shop to buy the solution. Challenge them to provide you with the evidence that you need before you put your hand in your pocket. Knowing your dominant trait is as important as knowing how you feel about change. It will influence what you do. It will create ideas and preferences and biases. So know who you are and know who you need to work alongside. Because whilst knowing the problem and finding the solution are both commendable, we need to make sure we do both of them right. And we need to make sure that we do them in the best possible way for you and your people. Getting to grips with where you are when it comes to problems and solutions will make your change better. It will enable you to adapt and adjust and solve your own biases, and maybe help you be open to not always being right, or at least not right on your own. This is now our first real adventure into the playbook. Page 14 gives you the model that we've spoken about and how I've shared it. And then on page 50 in the playbook, I'm going to test you to see how it works. Now, this bit is just a bit of fun, I promise. Okay, so page 15 gives you my context. There are 9 circles, and my need is for you to join them using 4 connected straight lines. The lines must pass through each of those circles. This is my problem. I'm now going to give you a short while to give it a go and see if you can find the solution. And then I'm going to awkwardly hang around and see what happens. Okay, so how are we getting on? Not that good? Has anyone Googled it? Who's written it in pencil? What we're doing is testing some of your dominant traits. If you have something that looks like this, you've absolutely nailed it. Well done. You probably spend too much time doing the puzzles out of Christmas crackers. If anybody's looks like this, you might have missed the point a little bit. But think about where your brain went during that process. Were you challenging yourself to get it right straight away? Did you write down the notes? Did you reflect on the instructions? Did you do it in pencil? Did you go straight for the marker? This is some of the traits of problem and solution people. Like, none of it is bad stuff. Like, it will help you shape and engage with your problems by understanding how you respond and how you think. The entire point of this exercise was not really to get you to connect those 9 dots, but it was to see if you reacted like your dominant trait, like the way you thought you were going to. If you didn't, if you went in headstrong as a problem person and the first thing you did was make a mistake, it doesn't mean that you don't know yourself or that something is amiss. But as humans, we are so good at telling ourselves of stories about what we know to be true and what we want to be true, we might not always see the true truth. And this is the challenge when we find ourselves in change, where we try and create space for our whole selves to help changes move forward. So it's a challenge for you to be honest and be open to the different opportunities and opinions that you'll get. But now it's time to get to grips with a real problem. So see you shortly.